Welcome along to episode 817 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show this week, we'll be hearing from Pippa Goodhart, the award-winning author, and Nick Sharratt, the award-winning illustrator. The team are behind the YouTube's books as we hear about the promotion they're working on with Happy Meals at McDonald's in the run-up to World Book Day. We'll be having an natter with Anna Richardson. You know her from Naked Attraction. We'll find out what she got up to on Valentine's Day and how we look after our pets. Craig Joyner joining us to share some of his music and to have a bit of a natter about some of the things that you will have heard of his without even realising it. Dawn Butler from Smiling Eyes Theatre let us know about their latest show, Honest Lies. DJ SUAT will be along. He's been celebrating the great outdoors with the help of Clipper Tea, and we'll be talking to the team at Sutton Coldfield Musical Theatre all about their production of Annie. That's all on the way on the show this week.
Welcome to the Milk Bar. 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 Welcome to the Milk Bar.
There's a brand new play which is celebrating motherhood and the women in our lives alongside the bonds that women build. To tell us more about this amazing production, which starts in Lichfield on the 21st of February and actually arrives at the Gattis in Wolverhampton on the 25th, I'm joined by Dawn Butler. How are you doing?
Good, thank you, Jason. You?
All good here. So you've been working alongside Jenny Stokes, writing this particular production, and I think based on that you're allowed to be in it, aren't you?
Yes, of course. Why would you? Why would you write something that you can't be in?
Sounds good. Tell us about the writing process and what's inspired you to start off with.
Well, Jenny Stokes contacted me during about 2020 during COVID really and said I think we
Hmm.
should write something together because we are actually in a writing group together called Big Script based in Birmingham.
Hmm.
And I wasn't quite sure because I like to lock myself away in a darkened room to write on my own, really. But she wrote some beautiful monologues, and I thought, well, I could write some dialogue because that's my sort of thing, dialogue. So she'd written these beautiful monologues about this woman um, who had had sort of like a really quite a tough time with motherhood, and I'd sort of thought, well, if that was in the 1970s, if I write something in present day, when this woman's grown up and do a sort of daughter-mother relationship, and it's just grown and grown and grown and step by step into something that we really love.
Well, it's called Honest Lies. Jenny plays Marion, who is the person we're sort of following here between the decades, and it's all brought to life with the help of a 70s soundtrack as well.
Oh yes, yes. Well, we what we've done is, you see, we went to we've done lots of workshops in community centres initially to to draw off people's own experiences of motherhood,
Hmm.
relationships with siblings, daughters, um, and we asked people. Our brilliant director Alison Belbin asked people what their memories, what were their first memory of a track that they bought, music that they bought, and people came up with loads of obviously memories of their favorite music and what really sort of evoked their childhood. And so we've put many of these actually in the play as
Hmm.
our soundtrack.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be amazing, and obviously you've got two Marions. We've got so Jenny playing the older version of the character, and the younger version is brought to life by Victoria Tew.
Yeah. She's such a brave young actress, Tori Chu is, and she's local. She comes from Wensfield. Um, and she's just doing some brilliant work with playing this younger character who's, it's a tough part, but she's just thrown herself in and is doing great. We're so glad to have her on board.
And you get to be present day daughter April, and
Yeah.
that in itself is going to have a few challenges, isn't it?
Yeah, it is because some revelations come out in present day between April and her mom. And Jenny and I have got a great relationship, and but and we sort of have little, creative spats
Mhm.
sometimes, and this comes, so it's really easy to have little spats with her as Marion the mom in the play as well. it's a really great relationship that comes out, I think.
And you get to explore that alongside husband Jeff, played by Nick Baker.
That's right. So Nick plays young Jeff, who is young Marion's husband, and he's brilliant because he's just a great. He's from Lichfield originally. He's studying at LIPA in Liverpool, and he brings his not only his great acting skills, but also he plays guitar as well, and so he adds live music to the show as well.
So that's going to be fantastic. And all this at some amazing venues. As we say, you start off at the Lichfield Garrick. You've got 2 nights there, Friday the
Yeah,
21st and Saturday the 22nd. The 22nd is actually going to be BSL interpreted, so by
that's
making it even more accessible. Then you're in the Gattis Community Space on the 25th of Feb. The Anea Community Hub on the 26th. Gatehouse Theatre in Stafford's Met Studio on the 1st of March. Then the Dorothy Park Centre. Is that the Smethwick one, is that?
it is. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Medic.
that's on the 3rd of March. That's a Monday. The Albany on the 7th. Everyman Theatre over in Cheltenham. You go, yeah, you're getting out the area for that one on the 8th. Then the
That's
Moseley
right.
Hive on the 10th. The Old Joint Stock back in Brum on Wednesday the 12th. They'll be checking out your Birmingham accents to make sure they're right. And then Gazebo Theatre, Chancel Court on the 14th of March. So that one's Bilston, I think, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Wisdom.
then Quat Village Hall, that'll be Quat. That's coming up on the 15th of March. So a bit of an interesting run for you. Because if you give you a bit of a search, you can actually find the link tree to all those different bookings, can't you?
Smiling Eyes Theatre. Yeah, Smiling
So
Eyes Theatre. That's where you'll find the link. Yeah.
give that a check out there. Smiley Eyes Theatre is what you're looking for. And I mean, it's great to see such a fantastic mix of Midlands talent all coming together.
It's so nice because, to write something, we've been so blessed to have Arts Council funding for this show,
Hmm.
and we're Midlands women. Written, our director is from Birmingham, and we've set it in Birmingham. We set it in the Midlands, and it's got Midlands references to it, and so we really hope that it will connect with the audience. We really think it will, and yeah, it's great to all be homegrown talent, really.
And the Midlands music scene in the 70s was phenomenal, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, amazing. I remember the Funky Gibbon actually.
Uh,
That's
that, that,
comes
that was the goodies.
that it was, wasn't it? It was the goodies, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember dancing to that in the back garden.
So, I mean, my earliest memories of music were probably at a kid's birthday party in the mid to late 70s with the Nolans. I'm not, I'm in the mood for dancing, but I never was. I've never been a dancer, so
Oh, well, I can join you there actually.
I'm just about sway. But
Yeah.
know that your audiences will be getting deeply into the show when it arrives to stage at all those venues. Lichfield opening night, 21st. That's going to be brilliant to have such a huge venue. And when you are looking at the community venues, they're pay what you can, aren't they?
They are. That's it. We wanted to make it as obviously as accessible as possible. So, if you're struggling financially, which, times are hard, we are feeling that definitely. So, yeah, if you any of the community venues that are open in the daytime, they are pay what you can. So you can pay nothing, you can pay £2, you can pay a pound, you can pay a fiver, whatever you can. Uh, that's great.
And you can pay more on the way out if you enjoyed it on the way in. So
Yeah, that'd be good.
that'd be
Yes,
great.
yeah.
Okay, so linktr.ee. That's the difficult bit. Link to re. That's
I'm
how
not
they
very
work it. Forward
technical.
slash
Yeah.
Smiling Eyes Theatre, all as one word. So linktr.ee forward slash Smiling Eyes Theatre. That's how you can find your tickets, or Google it. And
Completely.
because you're on
Yeah.
Facebook as well.
That's right. Yeah, Facebook, and you'll find stuff on Facebook, definitely, or Instagram as well. We're on Instagram, so that there'll be always be places where you can find. I'm not very technical, but I've been able to find it.
And you said that's a picture of me. What was I doing there? I'm in
Yes.
character. What's going on? Yeah, so that's all going on there, isn't it?
Yeah. Very confusing.
Yeah, Boston Creative working alongside Smiling Eyes
Yes.
Theatre, bringing this amazing production to the stage. Lots of different stages, and there's some in smaller, more intimate venues, which again is I think is going to add to you being immersed in the production. But
Oh yeah.
wherever it is you're going to see it, it's going to be phenomenal. I think, isn't it?
I think it is, Date. So I shouldn't, but I really do think people are going to have a great night or great day.
Uh,
Great. It's only 75 minutes long as well, so it's just enough to have a really great experience, I think. We
oh,
think.
well,
Yeah.
We'll
know.
see how it all comes together because say you've got to get between time zones somehow. So it'll be intriguing to see how you do that and how
Yeah.
it all works as it makes this magical show come together. It is honest lies. That what you're looking for. Is you look at any of the venues, and then Smiling Eyes Theatre is how you can find it. Other than that, well, Dawn Butler, have a brilliant time with it. As I say, break a leg, and we look forward to seeing you on stage across the region.
Thank you so much, Jason Forrest. Thank you.
Now, Craig Joyner has been working in the world of music for just a little while, but given his tender years, it can't be that long. He joins me now to tell me all about his latest album and single releases. How you doing, sir?
I'm very well, Jason. Thank you very much indeed for having me on your show.
Well, good to talk to you. So come on, give us a bit of the background. How long have you been working in music?
Right. Well, pretty much, I've been in business now for about 35 years.
That's impressive.
Actually, no, maybe 30 years, something like that. But it's been I did a load of jobs just to keep me going, and I tried to get into the music business 2 or 3 times and had to sort of go back to a job with my tail between my legs. But no, in 1987, the band that I was with at the time, we managed to get a management company to come and see us, and they wanted to sign us. And as I say, in about 87, we managed to get a record deal, and that was with a band called Romeo's Daughter. And we've been playing ever since. We had a big break from about 1994 to 2009. We got enticed to come back again, so we came back and did a couple of festivals and this, that, and the other. So that's been fantastic. I've done loads of other bits and pieces. I do an awful lot of work for telly. A lot of what they call library music, so all the underscore music that goes under programs and documentaries and stuff like that. So I've managed to keep myself busy over the years, and being in various different bands as well. That's the thing. Until of course I come to do my own acoustic stuff.
Well, yeah, like the likes of your latest album are kind of calm, and the single "Lark and Grey" which is impacting later this month. And yeah, this is about you and your time, isn't it? You're very often either putting music to somebody else's words or vision, or you're working together as an ensemble. And, that's a great way of doing it. But this is just about you.
Absolutely, yes. It started actually because all the work that I was doing for library, a lot of it would be acoustic based,
Mhm.
and I'd get ideas, and I'd just think, well, actually, I think that could be a song. So I just put it to one side and thought, well, I'll deal with that a little bit later and see if I can make something. And then songs just kept coming, so I just thought, right, well, this is kind of working. So I released an album in 2019 called The Art of Landing, and it did really quite well actually, and I started gigging loads, and yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. So this new album came relatively well, and some of the songs came in lockdown, as I'm sure a lot of people had the same sort of experience.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's been very kind to me. Yeah, very kind.
When you're sitting down, do you sit down to write music? Apart from when you're obviously writing library music, then you're sitting down to write music. But when you're
Yeah.
writing for you, do you sit down and do that, or is it a different process when you're writing things for your own performances, or that for your bands?
No, it's actually a very similar process. I mean, I don't think, I think a lot of times you wouldn't say, well, I'll go into a room, sit myself down and write a song. It doesn't necessarily work that way. In fact, quite the opposite a lot of the time. A lot of time I sit in front of, say, the telly, or maybe I'll put the computer on with a film on or something like that, and just play around, until something comes along. And sometimes just having that kind of um, distraction in the background, it sort of takes your brain away from doing the things you would normally do on a guitar, because a lot of people just literally go to their go-to things to do on a guitar. I
Hmm.
always say that first thing in the morning is a real good thing. I get up sometimes when if I've got the house to myself, I'll go down, I'll put the phone on the counter with my guitar and just play the first thing that comes into my head. And your brain hasn't really woken up yet, and you might play G, C, and D, and I know that sounds incredibly normal, but the melody you sing over the top and the way you do it, you can play for maybe 5 minutes and think, oh, I quite like that song. And by the end of the 5 minutes, you think, oh, I'm a bit bored with this now. I don't know if I like it that much. But then when you listen back a little, I would say 2 or 3 hours later, the
Yeah.
G, C, and D that you did at the beginning, at the very beginning, with the melody that you had at the very beginning, has started to morph. As your brain wakes up, it started to morph into the thing that you would normally do. And you listen back to it and you think, oh no, I quite like what I had at the start there. And then you work on that. Do you know what I mean? It's a very strange thing how it works. Or sometimes a title will come. You get a title and that just sets you off on a path.
And you're a storyteller, though. That's the thing, isn't it? And you must immerse yourself in the tale of these people, whether they're based on people you know or entirely imaginary.
Absolutely, yeah. It's you can make a story up in your head. Sometimes it's really like, for instance, the wedding day of Eliza May. That is it's totally fictitious. It's just totally made up story, and I just thought, this is it, and it all sort of fell in line. Whereas you get something like Old Will, which is the third track on the album. It's probably the closest thing I've got to folk prog, if you like. It's quite a long song, but it's a song all about a young lad who gets press ganged into working on the ships, and he gets taken away from his family, from his wife, his daughter, and it's about his struggle to get back to them. And even though it's a fictitious thing and I made it up, it's probably something that happened more often than not. Back in the day, I would have said.
And then, obviously, you've mentioned the fact you do the TV and background music work. I mean, the TV themes is, I think, the bit that would surprise people as well, because I mean that again, often you're writing a theme for something which hasn't even been commissioned yet. You're doing the music for a pilot project, and
Yeah.
what was it like doing something like that for Would I Lie to You, that sort of thing?
Again, with those kind of things, you're not right. We weren't writing specifically at the time for Would I Lie to You. It was a whole load of guitar driven songs that were kind of based around like a 90s punk sound, if you like. And it was to be as aggressive as we could possibly do it. That was the brief. So we just literally Les Paul out, crash, made it as loud and as ferocious as possible. And they put it out in the world and it gets picked up. As I say, sometimes people are commissioned to do things, but I've never sort of worked that side of things. It's always been, this is the brief. I work to the brief, and then the album just goes out there and it gets picked up by people that say like the genre of acoustic music, or they like the genre of cinematic music, that kind of thing. So they'll kind of be drawn and led to those sort of areas.
But when, friends and family are sitting down and watching something like Friends or Cold Feet and one of your tunes pops up, that must be quite nice to be able to go, I did that bit.
Well, it's always me because they ain't got a clue. So I always say, hang on a minute, I know that song. I know that song. Why do I know that song? And yeah, it comes up it does come up nicely. I was
Because you don't get
watching.
told, I suppose just a royalty check turns up or you've been paid for a one-off job.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the last one I heard was Country File. No, actually, tell you a lie, the last one was Gone Fishing. Gone Fishing. It was
Well, that's
great.
bit, you like your own fishing, don't you? So you must have been quite
Yeah,
proud of that.
yeah. I tell you, I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. It's fantastic.
So you never know where effectively your musical children are going to turn up,
Never know.
and there they are out in the wild, either making people laugh or preparing them to be to be the soundtrack to some other part of their lives.
Yeah, yeah.
But people can enjoy your music and your singles. So you released a few singles. You actually toured with this album last year, didn't you? Are you back out on the road this year?
I am indeed. It's just a steady flow of gigs that I'm going out and playing, and I'm really pleased. The album's been received really well. We've just released a single called "The Lark and Grey." We did a video for that locally, and it's been received really well. I'm really chuffed. Really am. Yeah, really chuffed.
So where can we find your full list of gigs?
If you go to my website, which is craigjoynermusic.com, there's links there to all the gigs. And if you're interested in checking the album out, it's all there. It's all there for you to check out. There's a few photos and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not the most handsome fella in the world, but I mean, but
This is
it's all there.
Yeah, the music, you're saying the music's more attractive. Is that what you're telling us?
Oh, well, but I would say so, yeah.
Well, you can't get, I think, coming up in Solihull not too far off. So that's probably a local one for us. And of course, yeah, we will play Larkin Gray now. But have a brilliant time out on the road. Enjoy your time at the Guitar Show in Cranwell Park in Solihull on the 2nd of March. And keep up the good work and suddenly spotting your music in random TV shows.
Jason, thanks so much for having me, mate. It's lovely to speak to you.
Take me down the river with rod, reel and line, sweet the smell and fragrance of poppies and thyme. As the day is dawning, lazy and fair, rise, oh rise, you rainbow, come out of your lair. And the larkin grey, well, he's over my shoulder, and he flies so high, watching dance through the air. And the larkin grey, well, he's bound for the water as the river rolls its way down to the sea. Make me up with feathers, twine, silk and fur. It's our little secret that no one else should know. Maybe I could fool you to thinking I'm real, cast myself upon you, a brown I might steal. And the larkin grey, well, he's over my shoulder, and he flies so high, watch him dance through the air. And the larkin grey, well, he's bound for the water as the river rolls its way down to the sea. Your waters, as none could compare, graceful as a swallow in the cool evening air. The river's always changing, wild and untamed. I just watch and wonder as we stay the same. And the larkin grey, well, he's over my shoulder, and he flies so high, watch him dance through the air. And the larkin grey, well, he's bound for the water as the river rolls its way down to the sea.
Sutton Coldfield Musical Theatre are at the Lichfield Garrick with Annie from the 25th of February right the way through to the 1st of March, and they're even thinking about their next show as well. They're keeping rather busy. I'm joined now by Annie's director and Daddy Warbooks. I'll let them do the introductions themselves. Hi gang, how you doing?
Good evening.
Hi, how you doing?
We are both okay, thank you very much. So my name's Paula Lumsden, and this here is
Paul Lumsden.
Paul and Paula.
Tell us a bit about how you guys came to do Annie, because it is a much-loved show, and I'm sure you have a perfect cast for this.
We do indeed. Well, we've been part of this musical theatre company since 2003, and we've both done some direction for the company. And when we're both on the board of directors, and when it comes to choosing a show, we all kind of meet together and say, let's have a look at what show we want to do next. And then I put my hand up and said, can we do Annie, please? As a child from the 70s, it is my favourite musical. And that's how it all came about.
And with so many memorable songs and such a loving role in Daddy Warbooks. I mean, you must be looking forward to this one, Paul.
Oh, can't wait. I love kids, me. No, I'm fine. Yes, I am. I've actually played it before for another society, probably 10, 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. So put a bit of weight on then. And
You've built stature to fit into the role. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I've got the vocals now. I've got that sort of, that depth of, that comes with age.
You haven't got the money though, have you?
No, I haven't got.
I
haven't got Warbooks money, no.
But this is the joy of acting, though. You can have it for the night that you're there and be part of the show, and that'll be magical, and you can change the world. This is spoilers now, isn't it? I better stop. So we've got a great show ahead, and so the kids are the important thing in this one, because they've got to be absolutely spot on with what they're doing, and you've got a fantastic bunch down there for that too, haven't you?
We've got 12 orphans and obviously Annie, so 13 in total. We're using them for the whole week. So it is all the same cast from Tuesday through to the Saturday evening. And they've just been working like a trooper. Our choreographer's got them dancing some fabulous musical numbers. And they're all very excitable, aren't they?
Very excitable. Yes.
Very excitable. But because they've been rehearsing so well, we're now having to kind of make sure that they don't peak too soon and get overconfident with it all. So it's a matter of trying to get that fine balance.
And they say never work with children and animals, and we've got both. So
it's that sort of show, is it? But it is all about the kids and the performances they put in. They get the opening number, and I know that there's amazing songs all the way through. Easy Street has to be my favourite, to be fair. But it is just a brilliant show, and that means you've got an amazing rest of the cast. Who's your Miss Hannigan?
Miss Hannigan is played by Kerry Davis. Her daughter is one of the orphans as well. So she gets to sort of be really naughty with her own child as well as the other children. So both winning at that.
She's very good though.
Yeah, she is very good.
This is awesome to look forward to, but of course there's various other supporting cast in there too, and this is going to be one of those shows which I think will live in memory again, won't it? It's one of those that comes around, when you get to do this, everybody loves having been part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're keeping to the true nature of it. Annie, for me, is all about the music and the singing and the dancing. And as I say, our choreographer has got some great dancers in there. They're full blown. Everybody's doing something different in the dances and the musical numbers. So
even I have to dance.
Yeah.
It's not all a win, but you'll hit the right footwork.
Oh, I mean, I've got the feet of an angel, haven't I?
Something like a bull in a china shop springs to mind. To be
it fits the part, though. I mean, that's the thing. You're playing a role where that's how it's supposed to be. So I'm liking that. It's going to be good. Okay, so where do people get tickets for this one? Because it is the Lichfield Garrick, the 25th of February through to the 1st of March.
Yep, they can go directly to the Lichfield Garrick website and order their tickets online there.
So lichfieldgarrick.com, or give the box office a call on 01543 412121. Get your tickets, be part of the experience that is the Sutton Coldfield Musical Theatre Company bringing Annie to the stage. Break a leg, have a brilliant time with the show, and then we can talk about your next one, which you've already got lined up and you're launching straight after this one finishes, well, can't we?
Yeah, absolutely. We are starting Jesus Christ Superstar, which will be performed at the Sutton Coldfield Town Hall 2nd to the 8th of November this year.
So that's something to look forward to.
Straight into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Check out all the details. Sutton Coldfield Musical Theatre Company. You can find them on Facebook. You've also got the youth group as well, and they got a busy time of it just at the moment because they've got a show coming up in June. So there's loads of stuff happening. Worthwhile checking it out. Paul, Paula, thank you both for joining us.
Thank
You're
you
very
very
welcome.
much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Now, British parents are bringing stories to life with voices, sound effects, and alternative endings, even fancy dress costumes. With World Book Day on the way and many a bit of fancy dress which is going to be used then, it's obviously a great time to get ourselves in the right frame of mind for all of this. To tell us more, I'm joined now by award-winning illustrator Nick Sharratt, best-selling children's author Pippa Goodhart, and as well as that by Jane Aspin-Main, McDonald's restaurant owner. Good afternoon to you all.
Hello.
So, first of all, Jane, give us some of the background to this one.
So this we're doing a partnership with McDonald's, and we're partnership with the You Choose Books as part of our Happy Meal giveaway from the 19th of Feb to the 25th of March. So children that buy a Happy Meal during that time will be able to pick a You Choose book as part of their package within that. Also on World Book Day, within the McDonald's restaurants, anybody without any kind of purchase can come in and receive a free book.
So that all sounds good to me, and getting kids into books is vitally important. And if you're having lunch at the same time, it keeps everybody quiet. Pippa, it must be great to know that literature is being shared in a way that really makes it accessible to kids. And once they're hooked, they are hooked for life.
That's exactly it. It's making it accessible. There are too many children who don't own a book. It's over 1 million children in this country don't own a book, apparently. And for many children, books are associated with school and getting things wrong and having to do a particular thing. So the joy of this is that it's out of school, it's shared with parents, and interactivity with parents over a book is a wonderful way to make reading fun, reading for pleasure, and that's what we're pushing for. And this is going to get millions of books out there. It's a bit boggling, the numbers involved.
It is impressive, and it is all for good reason too. And Nick, when it comes to sort of sharing a story, the pictures make a difference. They sort of train the eye on one thing and allow the creativity that the kids' minds to fill in the rest.
Yes, well, the YouTube's books are absolutely jam-packed full of imagery to look at and absorb and think about and discuss if you're sharing the book with somebody else. It's wonderful to have conversations about what you can see in the pictures as you make your choices on each page. And the activity books have actually have pages where you can be the illustrator yourself and do some drawing as well as things like stickers and puzzles and all the things that are great for having fun with a book.
Absolutely. And Jane, I think I'm going to nip down to McDonald's for a Happy Meal myself here because this sounds rather good fun. And I mean, I loved books where you were able to choose the direction of the story when I was a kid. And this is going to be fun. I mean, the two restaurants that you run, I mean, obviously you're going to see a huge number of happy faces.
Yeah, I hope so. So the two restaurants that I own and operate are within the local community that I also live. So I'm really proud to be part of this kind of initiative that makes a difference and where I live personally. I have 2 children myself, so we'll absolutely be getting those Happy Meal books and sharing that whole experience with the family.
And Pippa, when people bring stories to life by reading them with their kids, obviously when they're adding voices and things, it's sort of in your mind's eye when you're writing, I'm going to guess.
Yes, I mean, I'm acting it out as I write, and people act it out as they read, and they bring themselves to a story. And it is partly doing voices, but also I think sort of body language, where you show how you feel about what's going on in the story, and to share that story experience, parent and child, or 2 children together. It builds empathy and an understanding of how it might be to go through experiences that you might not have in your own life, as well as, of course, making the fun more fun because you're sharing it.
Absolutely. And then Nick, so you already said there's loads of great illustrations, and it must be fun illustrating the different outcomes as well.
Yes, the books, they're quite hard work because there's so much that goes into them, but it is really, really rewarding. And it's lovely the feedback we get when Pippa and I are doing book signings or at book events. Families will bring up the most worn out copies of YouTube you can imagine that are absolutely falling apart and ask us to sign them because they can't bear to part with them because they read them and reread them. And it's a book that every time you read it, you can read it in a slightly different way. So it does have a long life. And some of the books have actually had pages with holes in where the pages have been touched so much as they're making their choices with their fingers that there's actually a physical hole in the page.
And Pippa, this must make you feel good too, putting the words around Nick's pictures and bringing this whole thing to life, and really inspiring as well. Because I mean, this is the sort of thing which will potentially bring kids on to be their own writers in later life.
I hope so, because it's very much the children in charge, as it says, they do the choosing. And I came to this as somebody who struggled with learning to read at school, and rather seeing books as my enemy because they tripped me up and made me wrong. So these are very deliberately very open books that aren't going to trip you up. You can just look at the pictures, or you can read the sentence or two on each spread that sets the game going. So the words are almost an extra.
Well, Jane, we've seen more than 164 million books distributed already. There's going to be absolutely loads more with two Choose books going out. The You Choose series is so popular already, but this is really going to introduce more people to it. So what do people look out for, and what are the dates this is all running by? And of course, when is World Book Day?
The You Choose books are running as part of our Happy Meal promotion from the 19th of Feb till the 25th of March. So there is a good number of weeks there for people to pop in. And World Book Day is on the 6th of March. So do pop into your local restaurant and pick up a free book to be able to take home.
Well, Jane Aspin-Main, McDonald's restaurant owner, and Pippa Goodhart and Nick Sharratt behind the You Choose series. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, when it comes to puppy love and spending time with your loved ones, it seems that many people would rather spend time with their four-legged friend than their actual partner. Somebody who had a naked attraction when they bumped into their four-legged friend is Anna Richardson, who joins me now. How you doing?
Hello, how are you?
All good here. Good to see you again. I think last time was before Christmas, and
I know.
here
Yeah,
are
we
again.
weren't we talking about something to do with the NEC Centre? Didn't you tell me about that you've been working?
I was at the
You're doing a
NEC doing a live
broadcast.
show from the NEC, and you were talking about, I think, type 2 diabetes possibly, but
Yes.
but this time we're having a little bit more fun because we're talking about our four-legged friends, and I know you've got a pet for whom they were very much like the people on your dating show. When you met them, they were completely naked.
Oh yeah, and I am going to be spending Valentine's Day with a very hairy, smelly lady by the name of Piggy, who is my rescue Staffordshire Bull Terrier and the true love of my life. So yeah, it's Valentine's today, isn't it? It's Valentine's Day today. So happy Valentine's to you. But yeah, I mean, according to some research that's just come out from the pet insurers, Agria, 40% of pet owners would happily give up their plans to hang out with their pet instead. I am one of those people. So I basically cancelled my Valentine plans because I'm a bit like, the lady comes first. It's all about Piggy. I'm going to be kissing and cuddling with her on the sofa tonight. So yeah, I'm a stat.
Well, I know Piggy, when she came to your family, was suffering from separation anxiety, having been forced to move away from what she thought was going to be a forever home and move into a new one. And I know you've been doing your best to fill that void, but still, the anxiety doesn't always go away completely, does it?
No, I mean, I'm a massive advocate for rescuing animals where you can. I mean, particularly post-COVID as well, post-lockdown, we have got so many dogs in particular that have ended up in rescue homes. But no, my ex and I got Piggy a few years ago now from a rescue centre in Staffordshire, and she is a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. And she had very bad separation anxiety because she'd been abandoned. And so she just literally couldn't bear to be left on her own, even for 1 minute. And we tried everything we could to try and ease that. She had a lot of therapy. I mean, we literally got a therapist, right? She had a lot of therapy. We were trying to do the whole exposure therapy thing of just leaving her for 1 minute and then for 2 minutes. She would scream the place down. So we just got to the point where we just accepted the fact that this is an animal that just needs to be with somebody 24/7, and that's what we've done for the last 12 years with her. So yeah, she gets to be with somebody all the time, and she's happy. We've turned her life around, and it is hugely rewarding.
That's the important thing, and it goes both ways because everything that you give to her, you get back in spades, don't you?
Oh, without question. I mean, Piggy has seen me through heartbreak. She's seen me through the highs and lows of life. She's seen me through sickness in my family. She's seen me through everything. You know, animals are a constant companion, and it is an interdependent relationship between human and animal. You nurture them, you're responsible for them. In turn, they give you unconditional love. The research completely supports how important animals are to our well-being. So yeah, I would not be without some kind of pet in my life. It's been hugely rewarding.
And that pet insurance as well is vitally important too, to make sure that they can get the treatment that they need. Should anything unfortunate or untoward happen, they pick up a disease, whatever it may be, to make sure that they're kept as well as we are.
Oh, 100%. I mean, again, I would advocate for trying to get pet insurance if you can. I mean, certainly in the case of Piggy, when we got her as a rescue, you don't know what that animal's health history is. She ended up with lungworm, which is hugely dangerous for dogs. And, you know, most dogs, if they get lungworm, if you don't catch it quickly enough, die very horribly and quite quickly. So we spotted the symptoms very, very quickly. And because we were insured, we were able to get that treated quickly and inexpensively. And the same with, you know, because we've had her for such a long time, she has had all kinds of sort of gastroenteritis problems, because obviously, you know, dogs, they just go out and sort of eat everything. She's had pancreatitis, which is life-threatening. I mean, you know, this literally would have cost getting on for about 10 grand if you haven't got insurance. So it is, if you can do it, it is important to insure.
Absolutely, it's again all pet owners, sharing that burden together, paying their insurance premium, and that way we all know that the animals that we all love are looked after.
Oh, 100%. And as I say, I would never be without an animal in my life. They are just hugely rewarding.
And I think as well, it's about all those life journeys too, isn't it? And sadly, we know that unfortunately they are unlikely to be with us to the end, but we're there for them until the end of their lives. And then whatever happens, they've got those happy memories. You've got the photos, and of course you wouldn't, even though you're dealing with the loss at some point, you would never be without them, would you?
I think it has been done, you know. I think it has been done. I think it's been done with dogs, funnily enough, that could you date somebody via their dog? You know, are the dogs compatible? Are you compatible? I've got a feeling that has been done, but it's a great idea.
We'll check that one out. If not, if it's happening, then we need you to host it. If not, at very least a revival, because with Naked Attraction, maybe have that as an addition to a future episode or two.
Oh yeah, no, that's a great idea actually on Naked Attraction. Bring in your pet as well, 100%.
Yeah.
Good thinking.
Bring the dog to work day.
Point.
Okay, it could be interesting. So obviously, vitally important that we do look after our pets, as we say. The insurance is all important. Where can we go for more information on the survey that's been done here?
Well, if people do want to know about insurance, or if they want to know about how important pets are and animals are for your well-being, then just head over to agriapet.co.uk. Loads of information there on that website.
How are we spelling Agriapet?
So agriapet.co.uk.
Simple as. And I wish you a lovely night in. Is it Netflix and chill with Piggy?
I'll get her to choose. I mean, it could be the Doghouse. It's her favourite show. So she gets to choose.
Okay, that's the way to do it. And as long as everyone's got treats and nibbles, and it's always doggy chocks to make sure that she stays safe and no nasty gastroenteritis, then all is good.
I'm glad you said nibbles and no other word there. Thank you very much for that. And happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's. Anna Richardson, thank you for joining us. Now, music can help reconnect us with nature. SUAT, DJ, mashup artist, man out and about in a bright shirt with a cup of Clipper tea with him. How are you doing, sir?
I'm really well, thank you. And yourself?
Oh, good here, thank you. Now, you've been working with the gang at Clipper Tea. I've opened a new box this morning of unbleached tea bags. They're decaf for me, though. So I need a bit of an uplift when it comes to having a nice drink. So you're going to provide the musical soundtrack to that, aren't you?
I am indeed. I've been working with Clipper Tea to make people feel more reconnected to nature. We're doing that through music. We're doing that through the sounds of nature. Clipper and I have done some research, and we found that 80% of people's favorite thing about nature is, in fact, the sounds. So you probably already coming to mind some of your favorite sounds of nature. And what I've done is incorporated that into my favorite kind of music, which is pumping house music, to create the Sounds of Nature track. And hopefully when you listen to it, not only do you feel uplifted, but you make a donation to vital conservation work globally through the Sounds Right Foundation.
When it comes to the magic of the outdoors, it's worrying that on average, people are spending no more than a day in the open spaces than the greenery each year. And I know I do more than that. So which means there's some people who are barely leaving the house.
Yeah, it's kind of a shocking fact. You think one day in a year, that's 1 hour per month. Like, surely we have more time to be sparing on our own well-being and our own mental health than just 1 hour per month. We found through our research that 63% of people feel disconnected from nature. And you know how it is. Life gets in the way, busy job, busy with family and all those kinds of things. It's easy to push the nature to the wayside. But our research shows that it has a real mood boosting and stress relieving effect on us.
Yeah, but when it comes to your work, blending the sounds of nature with some electronic synthesized amazing tunes, how did you become a nature mashup artist? What suddenly thought, I know what I'm going to do today?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to put that on my CV, nature mashup artist. It stemmed really over lockdown when we were all cooped up inside. And that was when I really felt the effects of not having nature and not spending enough time in the outdoors. So I kind of wanted to create a contraption that allowed me to continue my mobile DJ sets while embracing nature and while taking people on a journey through the sounds and the sights. So that was how the mobile DJ rig, as I call it, was born.
Yeah, they're very much a mobile DJ.
It's the most mobile DJ I think that exists right now. If anyone else knows one, let me know in the comments. But yeah, and it was at that time that this kind of idea was born, and no better pairing than to work with Clipper Tea on the Sounds of Nature track, producing a record that is inherently me and my style, while hopefully doing good for people's mental health and the planet.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I think take a drive out to nature, obviously in an electric car if you can. Listen to the track on the car stereo, streaming it via YouTube the whole way so that the funding comes through. Exactly. And then when you get there, get the flask out, make a nice cup of Clipper Tea, sit there in your car, and then sort of blend from the track into the natural sounds of the environment through the open windows.
You literally said it perfectly. Would you like a job at Clipper Tea with us?
Very good.
Yeah, and for me, the thing that really sold me for working with Clipper is the fact that they do great for the environment. They're unbleached tea bags. It's all organic. It's all environment conscious, and the campaign just really struck a positive nerve with me, and it's something that I really believe in.
Mm-hmm. And Clipper, of course, always work with their own farmers as well to make sure that they are getting the right pay.
Exactly. It's fair trade where the farmer comes first. They have rights, they have their pay, and hopefully it makes the world a better place.
So all we need to do now is, whilst we're at home, sit down with a cuppa and listen to the track. So where do we find that?
YouTube is the primary place to find it. Just search Clipper Tea and you can stream the Sounds of Nature track. And every time you play it, a donation is made. So I encourage you guys to sit there and just keep restarting that track over and over again if you want to generate as much money as possible.
Second place. In between the adverts, you've got to get the adverts in because that's help pays for it, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. Don't skip the adverts. If you can watch it the whole way through, you'll be making even more of a contribution. Mm-hmm. Check out my socials at SUATism, where you can watch the campaign come to life over the next couple of weeks. And for anyone that is in London or the surrounding areas, I'll be performing next Monday at How Matcha in Marylebone. I'll be giving out hundreds of free cups of organic Clipper Tea, as well as showcasing the track and hopefully lifting people's mood and making a positive impact on the planet.
Okay, so right, back to the cuppas then. How do you make your cup of tea? Are you making it in the cup? Are you doing a pot? How are you going to work this with the thousands of people? You're going to try and DJ and deliver tea at the same time?
Yes. Well, I have kayaked and abseiled and paraglided while DJing, so hopefully making a cup of tea isn't too difficult for multitasking. I know they say we can't multitask, but watch my videos.
Scalding hot water, though, I'm slightly concerned. It's not the same as going down the side of a rock face.
It's not the same, but it's probably as dangerous. And I thought you were actually asking me, how do you make...
Well, I want to go there too, to be fair. Are you a milk first man, or what are you doing with it?
I don't know anyone that's a milk first man, but Congratulations to being unique if you are.
Well, they said no. It's got to be hot water. For making the cup, it's hot water. If I'm pouring it from the teapot, I will put the milk in first. But if I'm making it fresh, you've got to give the tea bag time to flow, haven't you?
Definitely. And yeah, I drop the Clipper tea bag in boiling water on the top. And the trick is, I've seen on a couple of etiquette programs, to not stir the tea bag so much. You kind of let it naturally diffuse out. Take the tea bag out, not squeezing the life out of it because you'll put a bitter taste in the tea. And then just a drop of milk, not too much. Borderlining black for me.
So I like my milky because it avoids me putting sugar in my tea because you're getting the lactose from the milk, and I can get away with that. So that's all good fun. But we enjoy a cuppa. I say my preference is decaf, so I go for the blue box whenever I go for my Clipper tea down Sainsbury's and Tesco's and Morrison's. The last lot came from. I think other supermarkets are available. But give us those socials again on where we can find all this that's going on and where we can see you doing your thing in the great outdoors.
Clipper tea on YouTube, SUATism and Clipper tea on Instagram, and How Matcha in Marylebone, Monday the 17th, 1 till 3 p.m.
Make sure you're there. Grab a cuppa. If you're heading down to London, he's the man to go and see. He'll sort you a cup of tea. DJ Stewart, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
That's your lot for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Back with episode 818 next week. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.